Boomers, change yourself, and you will have done your part in changing the world, said Paramahansa Yogananda, who was the author of the autobiography of a yogi. The wisdom of Paramahansa Yogananda is completely unequaled in the world today. His autobiography of a yogi is seen as a spiritual classic and one of the most spiritual books ever written. The world is a mirror of our inner state. If we seek change, we must look within, said Paramahansa Yogananda. He was a spiritual teacher whose wisdom has touched millions. Change yourself, and you will have done your part in changing the world. But what does that really mean? It sounds a little simple. Is it really true? Well, I dare say if he said it, it's true. Yogananda taught that our outer world is shaped by our inner consciousness. When we cultivate inner peace, wisdom, and love, we contribute to a more harmonious world. But too often we look outward, blaming society, blaming politics, or others for the problems we see. But what if instead we turned inward and took full responsibility for our own transformations? That is a good idea. Imagine dropping a single pebble into a pond. The ripples spread outward, touching every part of the water. In the same way, our thoughts, emotions, and actions create waves that affect the people around us. A kind word, a compassionate act, a moment of deep reflection, these are small personal choices, but they can set powerful changes, ripples, if you were, as it were, into a motion to ripple outwards and touch those who we are affiliated with. When we hold on to anger or fear or resentment, we unknowingly spread these energies into the world. But when we consciously choose to cultivate love, patience, and understanding, we radiate that energy outward, changing the way we interact with others and the way they respond in return. My mother was a huge fan of Paramahansa Yogananda, and when I was born in 1951, he had, I think, just passed away. But my mom had read the autobiography of a yogi and was studying it. And one of the big things in that book is the concentration on the third eye. And one time, my mind is going in different directions, but she would come to me when I was taking a nap, and as I was waking up, she would tell me stories of the third eye. Now, that was freaky to me because when I envisioned the third eye, not the spiritual, and she explained it was a spiritual third eye, but I kind of envisioned a cyclops or a monster with one eye up here. And I never forgot that because it was such an intense image. And years later, when I almost died from whooping cough, I decided to take the Paramahansa Yogananda SRF, Self-Realization Fellowship lessons. And I decided to take those lessons and learn Kriya Yoga, which is what I did. And just recently I've decided to revisit that because that energy that you're moving up from the spine to the third eye is a magnificent energy that gets you away from all of the angst of the world, the outside world, the thinking of the world, which is often very confused. And so that's what I'm doing, and I love it. And when we do just that kind of thing, the conscious contact with God is one of the things we can do to change our whole reality with relationships, with ourselves, with money. It really has to do with self-awareness. Transformation begins with self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts, your reactions, and emotions. Are they rooted in love or are they rooted in fear? Are they uplifting or are they draining? By observing ourselves without judgment, we begin the process of inner change, one breath at a time. Yogananda emphasized the power of meditation in cultivating inner peace. He was huge on meditation. By sitting in silence, focusing on the breath, and quieting the mind, we connect to our true essence, the part of us that is beyond fear, beyond doubt, and beyond any limitation. So we can think about all the ways we can help other people without any hope for anything in return. Helping people old person across the street, or a blind person, helping them carry their groceries into the house, all kinds of things. As I leave my house and I go out into the world, I will look for ways, and I do look for ways to help. Just as when I was a nurse, I felt like I was helping other people any way I could. So true change is not just internal, it expresses itself through service. When we uplift others, we uplift ourselves. Small kindness acts have the power to create profound shifts in the world. And also, everything around us shifts in the way we perceive things. And it's also very important to realize that we are our best selves at any moment we choose to be. Yogananda himself transformed from a young spiritual seeker in India to a global teacher of enlightenment. His journey was not just about personal growth. It was about bringing light to others through his own evolution. And don't forget, one small smile to a stranger can change their whole day. So, how have you transformed hardship into another mindset that has helped you much better than feeling like a victim? We see this truth reflected in everyday life. People who once felt lost or trapped in negative cycles have found peace and success and purpose simply by shifting their inner world. When they changed, their circumstances changed too. And so how will you change, or how am I going to change? Will you let old fears and doubts define you, or will you take the first step towards transformation? The world needs more people committed to inner growth, to love, to peace. By changing yourself, you do more than just improve your life. You contribute to the healing of the world. There's going to be a video that shows up right here. Take a look, subscribe, and like, and also click on that notification bell, and I'll be back tomorrow.